Alright. I've never done this before, so this is something entirely new, to me at least. And yeah, I just figured I want to give it a try. I know there's a lot of you guys out there who tell me that I should do this kind of stuff, so I'm going to start doing that. Oh, look at the numbers going up. Alright. Hey, hello to everybody that's coming in. We're just going to wait a few minutes here, let everybody come in, and then, yeah, we'll get started here. I'm just going to talk about whatever today. I really don't have a topic to talk about. Just out here. By the way, before we actually get into things, can you tell me, can you guys hear me okay? Can you hear me? What's up, guys? What's up, ring-a-ding? What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Alright, so I think you guys can actually, you guys can hear me well. Anyway, so I'm actually here walking up my neighborhood street. House is back there. And I guess the first thing we could do is we could take a look at some lawns here on the street. Check this out. So it's actually been getting warmer up here in the Midwest. Very nice here in January. I kind of like it. But if it does get cold in the next couple days, and I've talked about this before, this is going to be a problem. And if we don't have any snow in the forecast, this is where problems can really take off. So let me wait for this guy. So this is actually one of my my customer lawns over here, right? You guys see this in a lot of my videos. But anyway, the problem is not going to be right now. But it's areas like up here, the high areas, like when you get a little bit of snow, those areas are not completely covered with snow. So what happens is when you have that cold winter wind whipping across your lawn and other plants, basically what it'll do is it'll suck the moisture from the leaves. And if you guys don't know what that's called desiccation. And as you guys know, I've talked about this before in my videos. So if you want to see that, go ahead and scroll down a few videos. It wasn't that long ago, about a month. But yeah. Just one thing to keep in mind now, that because the snow is melting, don't think of it as winter's over. Think of it as, okay, this means that I'm probably going to have to do a little bit of work here in the spring because of the fact that it's going to get colder and that we're going to have winter wind literally sucking moisture. So keep in mind that if you have areas like that aren't covered for some reason, those are areas that you're going to have to work on later this spring. Like, give them extra attention, if you will. Anyway, let me see. Let's read some comments here. How are you? Just a neighbor. Let's see, everybody's just saying hello. I love it. Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking about doing. So, as you guys know that have been watching my YouTube channel this year, you guys know that I have been very busy with a lot of things, and because of that I haven't been able to upload very often, and I plan on getting extra serious with that this year. And I want to try, because you guys know that as much as I love running a lawn care business and everything, on the side of that I have a passion for teaching homeowners how to have the nicest and greenest lawn in the block, because I know that from experience. As you guys remember from my videos last season, I was dominating for sure with my dark green grass and my highly visible stripes. So you guys know that's the road I want to go down here with this YouTube channel. Is I want to be able to help out those of you first-time homeowners that are trying to have a nice green lawn. And I want to do more of that because it's what I like to do on my free time. A lot of you guys are asking me how I'm doing. I'm doing great. Let's see. Anyway, so there's a couple things that I want to do along with that. I want to go ahead and do more of these live type of raw and edited videos. And the reason that is because, as a lot of you guys know, one of the things I'm lacking as a YouTuber is my interactivity. It has gone down in the past year and a half. I know some of you guys message me on Facebook, or you guys comment in my videos, and I never get to them sometimes. And so it's all about being a hustler, man. You never have time to get to them sometimes. So anyway, I plan on doing more of these live streams to help hopefully do two things to benefit my channel. Number one, it's gonna give me more content, and you guys know how I am about that, because I'm not one for posting once a month or whatever and not seeing my viewers for a while. And number two, I really want to increase the interactivity that I have with you guys. You know what I'm saying? I love when I get to interact with all you guys. I love when I get to read your comments and hear your feedback on certain subjects. So this is going to be something new, and I hope you guys are looking forward to it. Sorry for my heavy breathing, man. Let's see what we got here. Would you ever consider a sprinkler system in ground? Okay, so one thing I gotta say there is I would consider it, but the only thing is if you're like 10 years into owning your house or whatever and you haven't established a lawn, it's not really worth it, especially when you could save yourself a lot of money. I know there's a lot of you guys out there who have major OCD just like me and wish you had a sprinkler system, because what that's going to allow you to do is increase the amount of coverage that you get overall. However, it's quite expensive, man, up here in the Midwest, because our water bills go through the roof when we water heavily. So me, what I like to do in the summer is I kind of let everything else go, and I just pull out my impact sprinkler and relegate all the water to the front yard and possibly the parkway, because you guys know that that's where I have my Bradford pear trees, and that's where it's the worst, man. That's where my trees compete with my turf the worst. So I try to get a little bit of water there every now and then, but the front yard is my focal point. That's the part that I have to keep green. Everything else, I let it go. So I guess that kind of sums up my opinion there. Yeah, sorry I'm shaking up a little bit. It's freaking cold out here. It's actually warming up, because like I said, the snow's melting, as you can see here. And let's see. Any tips for early fertilizing with the snow? As far as fertilizing goes, guys, I don't recommend any kind of fertilization right now. Number one, because the ground, while it may look unfrozen right now, you have to make sure that it's frozen at least a little bit deeper than 3 inches. Why? That's how deep the turf roots grow. So right now, we still have a little bit of snow on the ground, and that's indicating that it's still way too cold to apply anything. So I recommend waiting till the forsythia bushes bloom, which is typically... No, wait, let me reword that a little bit. I recommend that you wait until early spring when soil temps hit 50 degrees, and that's not outside air temps, that's soil temps. And we're going to be doing a little bit more video on how you can measure that here in the spring, and I want to save those tips for the video, so I'm not going to mention them here. But yeah, so we're going to be doing all sorts of spring lawn tips this year too. And as far as fertilizing goes, we want to get that down when soil temps hit 50 degrees. And the best way to indicate that, especially if you're not able to get your hands on any tools to help measure the temperature of the ground, is to look for the forsythia bushes. The forsythia bushes are the yellow bushes that bloom in like the first of spring. Once you see that, then you're good to go. And another thing I know a lot of you guys are going to be asking about, and I'm going to be doing a couple videos on this spring, and that's going to be about pre-emergence. When do I want to get those down? Now, it's pretty similar to your fertilizing application. You want to get it down a little bit later, though. And we want to get that down, and this is when we want to pay more attention to our soil temps. We want to get that down at when the soil temps hit 50 degrees, because that's when the seeds themselves are going to start to wake up. So that's when we want to get down our pre-emergent, and I'm going to be doing more videos about that, so stay tuned for that. Getting a new mower for this season, that's a good question. You see, as much as I love my Craftsman, that thing has been a workhorse this year. I really fell in love with it, man, because, you know, it's really big when you step up to something like that. But the only thing that's concerns me about it is the fact that what's the best way to say it? My mower deck on it it's uneven. It doesn't cut level like it's supposed to, and that might be the way it's mounted on there or whatever. But I've had a couple problems with it this season, and I don't even know if I want to go any further with it or if I want to fix it yet. But if I decide that I don't want to mess with it anymore, my primary decision is to go ahead and buy a Toro Time Master. I know a lot of you guys are probably going to get on me about that, but let's face it, man, I'm not doing that big of work. I'll take whatever I can get. Let's see, why does this keep going away? These may seem crazy to my neighbors out here. I'm just walking around talking to the camera. Anyway, it's good to get away from the house, man. That's really what I've been doing the past 3 weeks. Is I've just been locked up in the house, you know, doing homework. And of course, it's winter time, so I really don't want to come outside much. And that's why winter is pretty much bittersweet, because we're not getting as much snow as we used to. Believe me, if it was snowing every day, I'd always find an excuse to get out and make a video, because I'd have tons of snow throwing stuff I could do. And I'd also try and look in the market for other snow throwers that I know might be as good or probably won't compare, and I'd just be doing tons of review videos over the winter. But because it doesn't snow in the winter, I'm left with almost nothing to do. I might want to get away from here. Dogs get angry listening to me talk. Anyway, so one of the big things about the winter is that it's kind of a bittersweet time for me, because it doesn't snow as much as it used to, and because of that, I'm stuck with nothing to do. Like, I can come outside, it's too warm for it to snow, for snow blowing, and it's too cold to do anything with the lawn, so I'm left with nothing to do. I mean, it's also a good time to plan for the next, for the following season, get advertising and things ready to go. I also get out and hang out with my buddies every now and then, so it's kind of a nice release for me. But at the same time, I do get bored really fast being inside all day. You told us in one of your videos that you want to be good to the environment, so when are you gonna go green in your equipments, like from gas to battery? I don't remember ever. I mean, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I ever said I wanted to upgrade from gas to battery. I mean, maybe in the future I might do something like that, but as of right now, I don't plan on upgrading to anything. I love my gas tools too much. Okay. Let's see if I'm missing anything. I know the comments are coming in. Toro's the way to go. Yeah, so about my Toro mower, I know a couple of you have asked about it already. Where's my Toro mower been? Why you been using that Husqvarna? Well, you see, there's nothing wrong with the Toro push mower. I've been using it. That guy's been chugging now for about 3 years, and it's just that ever since I got this new Husqvarna, the one thing that I like that the Husqvarna has that the Toro doesn't is the rear-wheel drive. And I guess that's probably because I'm a shorter guy, and I also like to make sure that my lines are straight, because the one thing that really separates a front wheel and a rear-wheel drive is that with front wheel mowers, when you're mowing and you hit a bump, your drive wheels are going to come off the ground, and your inertia isn't going to stay consistent. Whereas with the rear wheel, where you hit a bump, your drive wheels will stay on the ground, and you'll have less bumper drift as you would with a front wheel drive mower. So I guess that kind of answers your question there. And however, the only problem I have with it is that it's not as powerful as my Toro, so I'm not a big fan of it. If anything, as a mulching mower, it's not my favorite, and it's probably because of how old it is. But yeah, we'll be looking into that later. Can you give any tips on how to correct damage from salt? The only advice I could really give you right now would be, once early spring comes around, make sure that you turn on your sprinklers or irrigation a little bit early here in the spring. And the reason that is because we want to kind of allow that road salt to be washed through, because I know that a lot of you guys are concerned about that. So all you got to do in the spring is just put your sprinklers on early once it gets a little warmer and wash that road salt through, so water deep. Hey pal, how's the lawn? Currently halfway covered with snow right now. Keep up the great work, Jake. Wish you continued success in 2018. Thank you and God bless you. Let's cross the street here. Shout out from Canada, Montreal, Quebec. Awesome, bro. Tips for vole damage in the lawn. Actually, that's something I'm actually experiencing right now. But it's not one of those things that I'm super experienced with, but I'm trying to get experienced with. So I got to do a little bit of further research on that, and once I do, I'll get back to you with a video. So that's one thing I know I have to get rid of in my lawn. So I want to, talk about some strategies and stuff, but first, got to do my research, right? Because even though you're the pro guy, you may know things. You got to do your research. Make sure you know what you're saying. Hey, buddy. Yeah. So about the Christmas lights, I don't want you guys to misconceive that I actually do it for a service. I mean, I get it, right? I love doing Christmas lights. Christmas lights are fun, but I do not offer it as a service. As of right now, though, you guys may see me doing 2 houses every year. That's my house, which is featured in the Christmas light videos, and then I got my grandmother's house. I do a couple pictures there every now and then, but as far as Christmas lights go, no, I don't do it for business. At least not yet. All right, hold on. I love how I walk by every house and garage doors are being shut. I must not be that well liked. Anyway, so, man, he's got to get his Christmas lights down. It's one of the disadvantages to having those C9 incandescent lights over there that he has, is that in order to get them down, you got to be super careful with them, and you have to do it on a warm day, so that you actually have to go up on the roof with those, whereas LED lights like what I have, you rip them down, there's no problems. I mean, a couple bulb heads might come off, but other than that, all you're going to lose are your clips, so that's why I really recommend LEDs. Why does your house have like no ceiling? It's just support pieces of wood. Okay, so about that, my whole house has a ceiling. It's just where I film a majority of my videos. I'm in my basement, and my basement is kind of semi-finished. It's not 100% yet. I mean, we do have drywall and everything down there, but yeah, I get a lot of comments about that. Like, do you not have a ceiling in your house or something? I mean, it seems kind of crazy, but when you live in a house like that, or in an area of your house with no ceiling, there's a lot of advantages that come with it. Just a lot of things you're able to repair right on the spot. But yeah, that's currently in the progress right now, so yes, my house has a ceiling in case you're concerned. Okay. What about your Echo PB580T? It's actually a PB500, and it was given to me by a friend when I went to GIE. He didn't want it anymore, so he passed it on to me. And by the way, if you're watching this, buddy, he doesn't want me to mention him, so I got to respect that. But if you're watching this, thank you very much. I appreciate it, dude. That blower's been a workhorse. And I've been getting a little off of my reviews lately, as you guys know. I don't know what's been happening. I've just been slacking the past couple months. Really, last year, though, was just nothing but slacking. Just no excuse, just slacking. And like I said, I've got to do a better job balancing this out, because I don't want to leave you guys hanging. But yeah, I've had so much in the past couple months. I got that blower, and in addition to that, I've also gotten my I also talked to the folks at SureCan when I was at GIE, told them, hey, I have this YouTube channel where I teach homeowners how to have a nice lawn and everything. Any chance that we can work out a deal? And he's like, yeah, sure. And then a few weeks later, he sent me some SureCan, so I still got to do the review on that. And I think I might do that sometime this week or through into next month. I don't know what I'm going to do for it yet, because I know I need to get some content out right now. As you guys know, trying to get content out for lawn care in the winter, pretty difficult. There's not much to do. I don't want to leave you guys hanging, so let me see. How can I fix deep tracks left on the lawn? Left in the lawn when mowing. I had bald tires, purchased new ones over winter. Will that help? I'm not too much of a mechanic, dude. I'm a lawn guy, so I wouldn't know. But if I knew somebody, I'd point you in the direction. I like Husqvarna. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Husqvarna is pretty good. I mean, it's not about... There's not one brand out there that's better than the other. It's all about what works for you and what's comfortable for you. That's all that matters. So don't listen to all that nonsense that says, oh, Still's better, Echo's better, right? Don't listen to that. By the way, sorry if I seem a little scatterbrained here. This is my first time doing a live stream. I'm sure that, and that's why I'm trying to do this, man. I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone. You guys know that when I do videos, I'm just able to edit myself out a little bit and make myself sound like I'm that good at speaking. But in reality, this is what you get. So this is actually really good though, because the more I do this, the better I'll get at it. So that's really what I go by in life, is that the more I do something, the better I'll get at it. Like the more I do live streams with you guys, the better I'll get. So it's something new, but I know I'll get better the more I do it. Okay. How old were you when Alan and you started to hang out, bro? Okay, so me and LCN, we go way back, man, to when we first moved in the house. I mean, I was still a little kid at the time, but he used to hang out with my dad all the time. They're really good friends, and I guess that's how I really got to know him, is, through Power of the Neighborhood. In fact, we're actually coming right back up on the block right here. See that? Freaking tag team right there. Tag team that will continue to live on forever here in the YouTube community. But anyway, yeah, to answer your question, I guess we really didn't start hanging out and really talking deep to each other about our interest in lawn care until mid 2014. That's when we really started to, that's when our tag team relationship really started to take off. We really started, I really started looking up to him and what he was doing in 2014. And then from there, the more we hung out, the closer we got, and now we're like freaking friends, dude. And it's cool to know that I get to be friends with somebody like that. I never like bragging about it or anything, but it's such an honor that I get to know somebody like that. Sand on low spots, what's your method? Okay, so when it comes to low spots, what I've learned over the past couple years is it's all about matching the soil composition that you have. So if you have clay soil, you have to come up with a mixture that is kind of similar or just like your clay soil mix. Or if and same for you sandy soil folks, if you guys have sandy soil, it's important to make sure that you get sandy soil. You know what I'm saying? You want your soil to be exactly the same. So as far as that goes, just make sure that your soil is exactly the same. In fact, I got a project coming up here, probably in the spring, that I really need to get on. I'm just gonna go ahead and show it to you guys. But because I'm actually walking back to the house right now, I'll show you in a minute. Perhaps you have... I just want to mow. Yeah, man, me too. I miss mowing. It's all the thinking time that it gives me. I love it. If If you're leaving ruts, then the ground's not hard enough for the weight of 10 vehicles to be driven on it. That's right. Jake, could you do a video on spring fixing low spots in the lawn? Actually, I'm just walking back to my house right now, and I'm literally going to show you a project that I'm going to be working on, and this has to do with a lot. And I think this is going to be one of my biggest fixes that I'm going to have to do. I use a small push mower. Ground is often wet, but states. Can you do a maintenance video on the Craftsman mower? I actually have to do a repair video on it. Well, it's not much of a how-to because I'm not experienced with these kinds of things, but I want to show you my process from start to finish. The tie rod end that links the steering wheel to the tires actually broke on me this winter, so I need to go ahead and repair that. So I've been sitting on that now for a while, and it's just been stressful, man. I got to get that done though before mowing season here. But anyway, let me show you what I'm working with here in the lawn. Yep, I'm walking on the lawn, but nothing to be too worried about. It's warm, it's soft, we're fine, it's malleable. But anyway, the problem I have here is my grade. Check this out. See how the lawn, this is really how it's supposed to be. So the soil here grades down away from the house so it can go into the sidewalks and into the storm sewers. But you come up here, and this is where things start to get a little funky. This is all around my house too. And that is, the grade comes toward the house. And this isn't good for many reasons, because when it rains, I get a little puddle here of water. And as you guys know, that's not really good because this area is constantly wet, and it's hard to grow grass in an area that's constantly wet, especially without disease problems. And it's also really disgusting over here because it grades down and then it settles over here, and then this is where all the mosquitoes mate in the summer, so it's not a good situation. And I guess that explains a couple fungal problems that I have with this tree too. By the way, speaking of this tree is actually coming out. I don't know when we're going to take it out, but this tree's on its last legs, man. You know, if you're ever going to plant a tree, I don't recommend planting it this close to your house because this thing could do all sorts of funky stuff to your foundation. So you got to get that out of there. And anyway, the project I have coming this spring is I'm going to go ahead and fix my grade, because you could see my grade is really jacked up. The water, it should be down so the water can go away from the house instead of piling up toward the house where the water can just form little puddles around my house. And this is horrible because this is my whole perimeter of the house is just the grade seeping in toward the house. So that's something we need to work on later on. Anyway, let's see what else we got going on here. Check this out. This really got me fired up. So when I took my Christmas tree down, I'm sure you guys saw it on Instagram, I took a picture there. But when I took my Christmas tree down, check this out. Trash guys didn't even take the branches with them. Really? I don't know, I just figured that because it was out with the garbage, they'd take them. But, well, I guess I learned from that. Anyway, for those of you guys who ask me all the time how the LCN's lawn's doing, I know you guys really want to see it. Here it is right now. Just like mine, it's semi covered with snow. And we really can't conclude anything until the growing season starts, but yeah, it's looking fine. In case you guys didn't know, new neighbor actually got rid of the ash trees and put in some new well, I don't know what kind of trees they are, but they're new and they got mulch beds around them, so that'll be cool to watch. And yeah, just walking down here in the semi-snow neighborhood. I use a small push mower. Ground is often wet. If your tires are bald, then you have is does pH of soil really matter? Yeah, a lot of people get that mixed up and they think it doesn't matter. Believe me, pH is everything, because if your pH is too low, then you're not going to be able to grow grass in your lawn. But if it's too high, you're going to have all sorts of problems. And you know, pH That's where NPK comes in. You got to make sure that you have an adequate amount of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So pH really does matter. So keep that in mind. And we'll be doing more videos on that this spring, so stay tuned. What do you think of reel mowers? I think for up here in the north, I don't recommend them one bit, unless you work on a golf course. But see, the thing about reel mowers compared to rotary mowers, what makes them so great for shorter grass types in the south, like Bermuda, is they do a better job of cutting your lawn low, because they often use the analogy that they cut like a pair of scissors, right? So they're literally cutting in the direction that the blades are growing. And it's kind of like when they say when you're shaving, go with the grain. It's the same way with a reel mower. So it literally cuts the blades off exactly the way they grow, and because of that, it doesn't stress them out too much as you would if you cut them with a rotary mower. And as far as rotary mowers go, for taller grass types, that's your choice, that's your go-to. So as far as reel mowers go here in Indiana, I don't recommend them for any northern grass types. Have you ever heard of the Husqvarna Vive 70 BTS backpack blower? I'm getting one. Nope, haven't heard anything about it. Instead of chopping the grass, it cuts the grass nice and smooth. Yep. What are you doing? Thanks to you, I use a Milorganite and love it. I like no chemicals. Me too. It's exactly the route I want to go. So really my whole philosophy, and we're going to be talking about this later too, I'm just going to give you guys a quick sneak peek, is you want to use a couple of synthetics and weed killers in the beginning. And the reason that is because if you don't, you just go straight organic and you have a crappy looking lawn, you're going to have a crappy looking lawn for years. Because the reason that is because you have to wait for processes to complete themselves, and that could take like well over a couple years to complete itself. Whereas if you use some synthetics and weed killers in the beginning to help kickstart the lawn, you're going to get the same results but in a lot less time. So we're going to be talking a lot more about that once spring comes. Reel mowers work sort of like a cinch. Yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna walk around a couple more minutes, and then I gotta get off here. I'm freezing. So if you guys have anything else you want to ask me, go ahead. No, I haven't really done a lot of these, so I'm just bear with me if I'm a little awkward here. But I promise I will better myself, because practice makes perfect. Do you have a riding lawnmower? Yes, I do. It's my Craftsman LT1000. It's in my garage right now. I've had that sucker for a good 11 years. Love it, but I have had a couple things break on it that I'm going to be talking about here in the next couple weeks. Could you do a video on the Echo trimmer and blower? Yes, I'm actually going to be doing videos about that pretty soon. How do you fix dog marks from urine? Dog marks from urine. So, dog marks for urine, it's not really something that you can fix, especially with the lawn. You're just going to have to deal with them for a little bit of time until you balance things out with your fertilizing. But it's not something you're going to be able to stop either, especially when you have a dog that's constantly going to the bathroom. I mean, there are a couple suggestions you could do. Like, number one, after they pee, you can dump a bucket of water where they've peed, and that'll kind of help rinse the pee away. And come on, let's just admit it. As homeowners, that's too much of a hassle. We don't want to do that. We don't want to keep up with that, especially during the summer. So, and another option I hear a lot about is that you can actually give your dogs pills that'll kind of affect the urine, I think. I think that's what it'll do. And it'll basically prevent the urine from causing any extra growth or damage to the lawn itself. And Me, I don't recommend that. What I recommend doing is actually trying to train my dog physically and mentally to go on a peephole somewhere out back. And then that can be like his little area to go to the bathroom, and then the rest of the lawn is mine. But as far as my backyard goes, I could care less, because that's not where I'm trying to, illuminate. It's my front yard that mostly matters. So that's my opinion on dog pee, and that's pretty much how I get rid of it. Thoughts on snow mold this season? Snow mold probably won't be that bad this year. And the reason I'm saying that is because we really haven't gotten that much snow. I mean, we might have it in some areas, and really it just depends on how thick that layer of snow you get is. And as I've talked about in my videos, a good thin layer of snow, about 2 inches, is good because it insulates the turf and it keeps the turf from the turf leaves from drying out from heavy winds, which I've talked about before. But if you have too much snow cover, what happens is that thicker layer will actually block the sunlight out and it'll get dark. And as you guys know, that when you don't have any sunlight in there to keep things relegated, what will happen is fungal problems will happen, like snow mold. And as far as snow mold goes, it'll actually start showing up here in the spring, and a lot of people want to know how to get rid of it. But really, there is no way to get rid of it. You're just going to have to keep it from causing you a problem. So what I would focus on in the spring is not on how you can focus on preventing snow mold, but how can you keep it from causing you a problem. And what you got to do is just get out in the spring and do some light raking, because as you guys know, raking creates airflow, and airflow is what will help stop most fungal problems. Is it good to bag leaves in the winter between snowstorms? Yes, I highly recommend that. But if you're, and I know that some of you might get confused there, because I often talk about bagging or mulching your leaves in the late fall. And the reason I say that is because that's good. That's going to give you a lot of value, because when you mulch your leaves down and break them down, that's extra NPK value and extra nutrients that's going to be mulched up into the soil. So I highly recommend mulching. But when we get into a later period like this where the ground's pretty much frozen and it's not going to take any more nutrients, it's a good idea to get out there and bag. Thoughts on moles in the ground? I told you about this, dude. I'm not that much of an expert on moles, but as far as I gotta make sure I don't get hit over here, because I gotta be careful about that. As far as moles and voles in the ground, I know that they dig trenches and everything, and that can cause a lot of problems because they will tend to feed on the soil, and you'll tell immediately if you have moles or voles in your lawn. And basically, that's when you look at areas in your lawn, they look a little bit dead and they have kind of a thatchy appearance to them. I remember looking at it in the spring thinking that maybe it was just an overload of thatch, but then I didn't get to it, and then I learned right away that it wasn't thatch, and then it turned into a big problem on the side of my house. So we're going to be exploring some options there later this spring, so stay tuned for that. But for what I conclude when it comes to voles in the lawn is that I prefer mechanical means over chemicals. So remember that. Yeah, lawn barber, that's actually not a bad idea. I might try and get some videos out there, because my lawn business, as much as I don't talk about it, I need to start talking about it more. So yeah, absolutely. I'll see what I can do this year. What is a better form of advertisements? Is it flyers or business cards? If you can, do both of them. It's really good because, number one, you want to get the flyers out in the spring if you have no access to online advertising. It's just a great way to start out, let people know who you are at first. And so, put that somewhere by the front door. Don't put it in the mailbox, because I've done a video about that earlier this spring, and a lot of you guys got on me about that and immediately found out I wasn't supposed to do that. But don't put them in the mailbox. If you can, try and get them in the front door. Try and stuff them like halfway in the front door, so when the customer opens the door, they'll see them. And in addition, business cards, it's a great thing to have because when you talk to customers, like at the site or live, you're just able to tell them, like, here's my business card, give me a call if you want anything done. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to have both on hand if you can. I have some patches of clover. How would I go on dealing with that now before next season? Well, that depends. Do you live in the north or south? If you live in the north, where I do, you don't want to do anything right now. You don't want to have to, you know what I'm saying? The ground's too cold and it's not good to use any pesticides or fertilizers right now when it's too cold because that will run off and go into the storm sewers. We want to get it when it's warm enough, and that's when the nighttime temperatures are going to be higher than 45 degrees and lower than 75. That's when you want to get that done. So I'd wait until mid to late spring to deal with that. But most of what we're going to do with pre-emergence here in the early spring is going to help take care of that. So stay tuned for those videos coming up. Fan of deep watering. How much water in a single application? I get this question asked quite a lot, and as far as watering frequently, I like to make sure that I get down a ½ inch of water every watering, whether that's 30 minutes of watering, 45 minutes, however long it takes to get down a ½ inch of water each water. And we want to do that 2 to 3 times a week. If you want to see a video about that, if I can, when this is over, I'll leave it in the description below. And if you guys are watching this later, so you can watch that video. And I'll also, if you don't know, just type in Jake the Lawn Kid, how to water your lawn. It'll come up. Also, how did you grow your channel? I get this question a lot. Not on YouTube, but also off YouTube. And really, just keep trucking. That's how I learned. You keep going no matter what the people tell you. Oh, I think what you're doing is stupid. Teaching lawn tips, right? But really what you're doing is you're doing what you love. And the more you do it and the more often you do it, the more attention you're going to get and the more appreciation you get for your work. So don't listen to those people that tell you that you're crazy. Just keep going. Persistence. Can't achieve anything without persistence. Opinions on single-stage snowblowers. Not something I have a lot of experience in. What's your name? What's your name? Andy's Lawn Care. Haven't experienced a lot with single-stage snow throwers. I mean, I've done a video in the past, but I really didn't know what I was talking about, and a lot of you guys got at me in the comments. So yeah, I don't really have a lot of thoughts because I don't use snow throwers on a day-to-day basis or week-to-week, depending on how often. But I see a lot of people here in the YouTube community use them, like Brian's Lawn Maintenance. That guy, he gets a lot of commercial accounts, and just for clearing small sidewalks, perfect, lightweight, easy to use. Good. Have you heard of Humate? I haven't actually done a lot of experimenting with Humate, so not something I know about, but more searching to be done. How many yards should you have before getting an employee? That's really up to you. You either start alone or you start with somebody. I mean, I guess there's not really a right or wrong answer for this. You could do it however you want. You could start off alone, start with an employee, co-run the business together, or hire somebody to help you. It doesn't matter. As long as efficiency is taken care of, you're fine. Any suggestions for starting a neighborhood lawn care business? Yes, get your name out there, whether that be with business cards or flyers or online advertising. I actually looked into this website called Nextdoor.com, not a sponsor. I have to say that in my videos sometimes because I know a lot of you guys think that because I am getting bigger that I am starting to sell out, right? But don't worry, it's not happening yet. But Nextdoor.com, that's really helpful because if you could sign in there and see who's on in your neighborhood, what you can do is there's like an option where you could send all your neighbors cards, invites, and they become members, and then you can advertise your lawn care business on there. And my guess, I'm actually going to give it a shot this year, and my belief is that if you do it right, you can probably double or triple what you had the last year. Hey man, how's it going? Andrew Finnegan, what's up, buddy? I haven't talked to you in a long time. How many accounts did you have last year? Closed off with 10, baby. It was an awesome year last year. Krupp is answering all your questions. Well, yeah. What do you think about meeting other YouTubers who also share the same hobbies as you? Also check out a website called Yeah, I've heard of Yardbooks. But let me talk about this real quick. So, the reason I highly recommend you get out there and have a YouTube channel, especially, I even recommend this to people who are introverts, people who are afraid to share their ideas and their interests because of the opinions of other people. It's sad to say that it's even affected me in a bad way. I'm still a little antisocial, I'm still a little introvertic, but I'm bettering myself every day. And it's just sad to say that that's taken over the world. So having a YouTube channel or starting a YouTube channel and sticking to it is really good, because not only are you teaching yourself how to become more confident, because you have to research all these things, you have to know all these things in your head, and then you go out and then you execute what you've learned, and then over time it just sticks with you, and then you become a better person because of it. And it's also good because you get to meet more people that like to do what you do. Like, for example, I go to the GIE Expo in October. That's where I get to meet everybody that has the same interest as me. I get to connect with them, talk about certain situations that we all have, and you know what I'm saying? It's just a great way to make friends. Like, not only for the internet fame, but getting on YouTube is a great way to make friends. As long as you do, especially when you do it right. And you're real and true to yourself. Jigsaw 750 Pilot, what's up, dude? I see you commenting all the time. I appreciate your viewership. Happy New Year, Jake. Here's to a great year. That's right, man. Cheers. Happy New Year. Baba Booey, 126, yep. I experience that all the time, man. Family members plugging, yep. Yeah, Yardbooks is awesome. I use it and it's really beneficial. Yeah, I know. I'm actually going to get into it this season. No words about it. I got plenty of time right now. In fact, I'm actually going to try and get my account, mess around with it, learn how it works today, get that going. I'm really excited about that. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the things I struggled with last year, and I'm not afraid to hide this from you anymore, because the only way I'm going to better myself is if I share it with you. Last year was a horrible year for money management. I made a lot of money, but the only thing was that once I got later into the season, that's where money management started to go crazy. Because the only source I had of recording my money was an app called Spending. So every time I got money in or took money out, I'd type it in. And then one time I accidentally did something I wasn't supposed to, and I ended up deleting all my savings or whatever on there. And had to start completely over, and then I ended up losing track of my customers completely. So that's what sucked, man, because I ended up doing a little bit of free work this year that I wasn't happy to do, by the way. So don't get your money all messed up like I did, man. I'm learning as I go. Have you considered starting a snow blowing business? Well, we're not getting as much snow as we used to, so nah, not really. Not at the moment. I'm sure that might change in a few years. Plus, I might know some things that he may not, and he can learn also. I have done a bit of plumbing. It's awesome, dude. Where's the GI Expo located? I live in Tennessee, or does it travel? Every year it's held at the Kentucky Exposition Center in Kentucky. I believe that's where they have the Kentucky Derby too. So yeah, every year it's based in Kentucky, the same place, same time, everything. The only thing that changes every year that I really don't like is that the days get earlier and earlier every year. Like one year it's October 18th to the 28th, and then the next year it goes from 17th to 19th. I mean, that just throws a lot of things off. But it usually goes from like Wednesday to Friday, and that's it. But yeah, I'm actually going to be, because I want to meet some of you guys. I really do. You know what I'm saying? I want to meet more people. So if you can, go down to the GIE. In fact, I'll leave some info in the description below if that works, because I've never done live stream before. Are backpack blowers worth the money? Well, here's how I see it. If you're a small business owner and you're thinking, well, I want to buy a new blower. I don't like the blower I have. Or maybe you just have the money and you want to buy a new blower. What I've learned is that if you're going to spend most of your time doing straight lawn maintenance, nothing extra, just blowing off sidewalks, if that, right? Try and find the highest quality handheld blower you can, whether it be Stihl, Echo, whatever you're interested in. However, if you're doing leaf cleanups and you spend more time with a blower, you don't want that extra weight on your hand, man. Believe me, I've been there and done that. You don't want to be doing big projects like leaf cleanups where you have to hold the blower like this. It'll really put a lot of wear and tear on your shoulder. So that's where I would say it'd be an okay to get a backpack blower. Hello, Jack. How you doing today? Matt DeGoyer. How old are you? I'm 16 years old. Turned 16 a few months ago. About to start driving pretty soon. Excited about that. Hey, man. Welcome back. Yeah, I know. I've been off for a couple. Like I said, I haven't done much here in the winter because there's not much to do. By the way, anyway. Here's one thing that I think that my neighbor here is doing that's super smart. And I'm going to try and keep this short as concise as possible. Possible. He's got these snowboarders here, and I've talked about this in my snow video. It's very important that you get these so that when you clear your driveway, you don't do any overlap, you don't get onto the grass with your snow thrower and then possibly damage your good grass. So it's good to have these edge borders to keep you from doing any damage to your turf. Because as you guys know, hold on, it's all about neighborhood domination, am I right? Bigger. What is a good riding mower? Any riding mower is good. I mean, it just depends on the situation you're in, right? If you're starting out, whatever you can get your hands on will work just fine. But as you get bigger, then you have to kind of look at some commercial equipment. But, I highly agree with the idea of spend the least amount of money as possible and keep doing all your commercials with a lawn tractor. I mean, whatever works for you, man. Because I know I have a Craftsman in my garage. I really don't like Craftsman, but it works fine. You're awesome, Jake. I love you. Thanks, Grantinator. I do miles with both a weed eater and a leaf blower. I can relate on that one. Riding mower, I love Walker. I've actually, I'm sure you guys have seen it, but oh my god, I can't believe I'm talking about this, but when I got when I had an opportunity to talk to the Walker folks at the GIE, and this was my first year going, so this was like a year and a half ago, I talked to them, I signed up for a demo, and then they showed up here in November, early November, and then we went out to, and I said, hey, I have a couple corner lots that I really don't feel like push mowing, so maybe to save the time and see how it works, let's take it over to one of my customer lawns and see how it works. And that's exactly what I did. I took it to my customer lawn, and the thing about the Walker mower that I want you guys to know before I go any further is that the Walker mowers are built a little bit different than what I'm used to. And what I mean by that is that you actually have you have a bag this big behind you. I'm not used to that because every zero turn or lawn tractor that I've ever worked never had a huge load behind you. So that was something that I really had trouble getting used to. And because of that, when it came to areas where I had to do a deep turn, hey, trying to film here. Anyway, when it came to doing a deep turn, you have to remember you got that big load behind you, so you have to maneuver a little bit rather than just turn out like you would with a zero turn. So, anyway, I'm coming up on the corner of the house, right? The back left corner. And what I did is, not remembering that I had that giant load behind my my mower is I turned it and slammed right into the window. Oh my God, man. I mean, that was the moment I did that, I was like, oh shoot. Like, oh my God, it was horrible. It was really bad. Alright, hold on. I gotta be a little quiet here. Neighbor's gonna think I'm nuts. Anyway, so what happened is I slammed right into the window, man. That was not a good day for me, nor was it for the reps, because we talked about it. We're like, hey, dude, so look, I'm very sorry that I did this to you guys. You guys came out here. You guys have been so nice, and I wrecked it for you guys, breaking the window or whatever. And they're like, oh, no, it's totally cool. And because it's our machine, we'll pay for it. And I'm like, really, man? Thank you so much. Because I really didn't have that much money at the time to actually repair a window. I was like so nervous and scared. But anyway, fast forward a couple months, GIE came up again. I went there this year, and I went to the Walker booth, you know, not thinking about the incident one bit. I go up there and I'm like, hey, you guys mind if I demo any of your equipment? And they're like, oh yeah, we know you. You're the guy that did the video last year when you crashed our mower into the window. That was so, dude, the minute I heard that, I started laughing, and I was like, yep, that's me. I mean, and I even told them, and they were very understanding, and they're like, yeah, we understand. It's something very difficult to get used to, especially when you have that giant bag behind you for the first time. You don't have a lot of experience with that. Yeah, we totally get that, man. And they were just so understanding about that. So, Walker, if you're subscribed here or watching, thank you for your understanding, man. And that's really appreciative. How far do you live from the lawn care nut? How are you? I'm good. How far do you live from the lawn care nut? I live basically a plane ride away now. It's funny because at one point it was right next door. At one point I was able to say, oh yeah, he lives like 10 feet away from me. Now he lives like plane ride away. That sucks though. I mean, even to this day, I still have trouble getting over it. Like, I love that he's in Florida now and that he's doing bigger things. But I miss the relationship that we had when we were neighbors, dude. I mean, we're neighbors for life and all, but when we were neighbors, we used to do a lot of stuff together. And we did it like week to week, but now we still talk online and stuff. But it's not the same as when we used to hang out together. You know, you get what I'm saying? I mean, it still gets to me to this day. But yeah, Al, if you're watching this, buddy, neighbors for life, dude. I miss you up here. If I could, I'd come down there. Keep up the great videos. Anything new and exciting coming up for you in 2018? Yes, I've got some great news, and it's not 100% confirmed, but if it is, I'll be doing it, and it's going to be happening in the fall. We're gonna take a look at it here in the spring. But fall is when we're really going to get crazy with it. So there's a little hint for you. Stay tuned for that. All right, let's see what we got here. The lawn barbers. What do you make intros and outros with? I really don't make intros or outros. I just... I kind of like to I don't have a custom intro or an outro or anything like that. In fact, I don't find those entertaining or anything. I mean, I guess it's cool because they promote things, but all I do is I like to make my intros more entertaining. So maybe I'll start my video with a time lapse or time lapse in music and, you know, footage of what it looks like around here in Indiana. And, you know, I just like to make it more entertaining and add more variety to them, I guess would be the best way to say it. Are those parrots flying over your head? No, they're I don't know what they are. Like northern bird. They gotta be geese. They gotta be geese. What camera do you use? I use a Samsung point and shoot. For a lot of you guys that ask, I use that and I use a GoPro Session. Snow geese. Yep. Where are you from? St. John, Indiana. They are Canadian geese. Man, we're about an hour already. Didn't know we've been talking that long. That's good. I love talking though. My wife says show her eyes. Okay. Yeah, I get that a lot. Especially when I go to school now. I've been wearing these glasses now for quite some time. That every time I walk around and I take my glasses off, they're like, you're a totally different person. I mean, you look good either way, but totally different person without your glasses. Alright, let's see. Once you get a license, you should get a pickup truck. Yeah, I'm actually going to be looking into that pretty soon, but in the meantime, I got my dad's Ford Explorer that I'm going to be driving, and you know, I'm good with that, because rather than go blow off my money on some truck, I want to go ahead and save it up, because if I can use my dad's car, and he's fine with it, I can save up the money and go out and buy that nice truck I want instead of settling for something. So, I'm fine with that. You are an inspiration to my kids. I love watching you as their family. Dude, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Will you be doing lawn care long term? I don't know. I guess I never really thought about it. I mean, I guess because I have two things I want to do in life. Number one, I want to run my lawn care business. And number two, if I ever get that big, I want to make my living here on YouTube helping you guys out. So, as of right now, I want to keep both of them going because it's good. I mean, why give up two badass sources of income when you don't have to, right? Keep them. But eventually, there might be a time where I'm like, I want to keep one or the other, right? Sir, if anything, I might be making my living on YouTube long term. But as far as lawn business, I don't know. How many lawns do you cut? I have 10 customers here and they're all in the neighborhood. So nothing too crazy. Can you carry a push mower in a small van? Plus, can get a trailer hitch on it. Yeah, I've heard about that. I've heard about friends that actually, my good buddy, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him. His name is Jensen, and he goes by JC the Lawn Care Guy. And he's on Instagram, and he's also starting out here in the YouTube community. So if you could, go give him a follow, JC the Lawn Care Guy on YouTube. And he actually talked about when he started, because what he does is he primarily gives out lawn care tips on the internet, and he has a full-time job, but on the side he does lawn care. And what he did when he was starting out, before he bought himself a little truck, is he had a Toyota Camry, and what he would do is he'd stick the mower in the trunk, put all the equipment in the back seats or whatever, and then if he had to, he said he'd probably get a little hitch on the back of the truck. So yeah, I've heard stories like that. Good idea, lawn barbers. Can the small trailer you pull behind your tractor hook up to a bike? Not in the condition it's in. I don't think so, but I bet if I was able to customize it a little bit, it probably would. Because the plan for the tractor that I'm using right now, I don't know if I plan on mowing with it much longer, because like I've talked about earlier, the deck's been giving me some problems. For some reason, I can't figure out why, but the deck is just so unlevel on my properties, and it's not really too prominent when I'm cutting tall, but it's more prominent when I cut the lawn short, because you have half of the line that is basically stripped down a little shorter, and because of that, you can see a little bit more brown exposed. How are you?
Hi.
What's up? Neighbors. Anyway, let's see what else you guys got going on. What? Live Q&A on YouTube. Alright, take care. It's my neighbor Derek. Cool guy. Let's see what else we got here. I would love for any of you guys to subscribe to my channel. Great content is coming soon, and I love my audience. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, Lawn Barber, I'll be sure to check you out. Let's see. I know you have a D105. Yeah, I have a D105, and the one thing I don't like about John Deere's, especially the tractors, I don't mean any spam or anything when I say this, but they're so freaking slow. Like, I'm not kidding. They are the slowest mowers I've ever worked with, especially now with my Craftsman. I don't know if it's just John Deere alone, or maybe that's their whole brand. Maybe that's how they make lawn tractors nowadays, but they're so freaking slow. I mean, I guess that's okay, though. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit, but I was just lucky enough to pull off that tractor. That tractor's really fast. The Craftsman I have, maybe because it's an older make, an older model, it goes faster. Let's see. Solution: don't cut short. Yeah, I understand that immediately, because you guys are like, well, wait a minute, don't cut short. Well, I mean, you gotta do what the customer asks, man, whether you like it or not. Asks. You gotta do what the customer asks, because if you don't, well, they're gonna complain. So you gotta do what the customers want. And sometimes I can get away with not doing it, but it's better to go by the customer's rules. Unless we're talking about pricing, which we'll be talking about later on. Is the Stihl trimmer in a good shape since the last video? I have completely retired that trimmer. I am done messing with it. If anything, I'd be lucky to get another year out of it. You know, the labor that goes into trying to fix it, it's not worth it. Because for the past couple months, I've been trying to find a part that'll work for it, and I have found nothing. I haven't found anything that'll work for it. So I said, screw it, I'm gonna retire it, and I'm just gonna buy the cheapest Echo trimmer I could find. And then I bought the PAS 225 that I know a lot of you guys have seen here in my videos, and I really wanted to start using that, and you know, talking about that more in my my videos. And I still got to review the thing. I've had it for almost a year, though. I think this will be good, though, because I've had it for 1 year. I'll be able to do a 1-year review and show you guys what I think about it, because there's one slight modification I made to it. I'm sure a lot of you guys are able to pick up on it. So I took the guard off, and I've been getting a lot of comments about that, like, are you crazy? You're going to go without the guard? What's wrong with you? And really, I know safety is like a #1 priority, but I try to think of other ways to be safer than to use a guard, because not having a guard on a trimmer like that doesn't have a lot of power in general is good, because I can do things much faster, and I can also fit it in tighter spaces, whereas with the guard I can only work with what I get. When you cut all your client yards on the weekends, or did you spread them out through the week? It's kind of either or for me. I mean, I try to do them. Normally what I like to do during the school years, I try to do them on the weekend, and actually that might work. I try to do them on the weekends, and if I can, I kind of do them during the weeks. It depends on what I'm doing. I'm stuttering so much. It kind of depends on what I'm doing during the week. Like, if I'm, let me think, okay? If I'm not that busy with school, I'll try and make time and go mow at least a yard or two by myself. Or if I have help after school now, I probably will. because I know my cousin moved in closer. And if he doesn't want to help, that's totally fine, but if I can get some help, I can probably knock out 4 to 5 in a day after school. If you stop mowing with your Craftsman, what will you do with it? I will continue to use it to pull the utility cart. You guys know how I use the tractor to pull my my utility cart and everything that holds my lawnmower or my trailer or whatever. And if I get a bigger mower, like a Time Master or something, I'll just use it to pull the equipment around. Do zero turns cut as well as other mowers in your opinion? Well, if we're talking about riding mowers alone, yeah, it really depends on what you're getting though. Because the one thing that matters when it comes to picking out a lawnmower is it's all about the horsepower. Horsepower is a big deal. Well, horsepower is not something we can measure now, but it's something we used to measure. It's important to make sure that you're getting enough power. It is basically all that matters. You need to make sure that you have enough power because you want to make sure that you're getting a clean cut on the blades. Whereas if you don't have enough power, it's literally going to rip and tear your blades. Because as you guys know, who follow my programs here on the channel, you guys have a super thick lawn. It's really hard to cut a thick lawn with an underpowered mower. Here in Tennessee, we go to school at 7:15 and get out at 2:15. My schedule is from 3 p.m. till 7 p.m. except for the weekend. Yeah, man, that's a cool schedule. I might have to think about doing that. But the only thing about school though is I try to stay on top of my homework, but I guess when the season starts up, because my school is in kind of a block schedule, I guess if you will, I get a couple days where I don't have to do homework and I can just go out and mow. How are you? Funky looks when you're trying to make videos, right? That's something you gotta get used to, but yeah. It's a little nerve-wracking at first, but the more you do it, better you get. Let's see, what else we got here? You should start snow removal. Yeah, maybe that's something I'll experiment with later on. Blade RPM is the key to cut quality. Exactly right. That's exactly what I was saying. The lower the RPMs, the worse the quality is going to be. The higher they are, the better the cut quality will be. When do I get my license? So I just got my permit and we're about to go out driving here. I got to get a certain amount of hours in, and hopefully if I'm able to finish my hours early enough, I'll get it in late March. And that's typically like right before I start mowing, so that's perfect. Do chicks dig lawn kids? Well, I guess it depends on where you're looking at. It's not something I really want to get into. I get a lot of bash and I get made fun of a lot for having my own business, but I don't let that get to me. Especially by chicks too. That's the worst thing. But then you realize it doesn't matter. Have you ever thought about buying a stand-on? Oh, dude. I'm kind of flustered on which one I should buy. I'm a little confused because I know the Skag V-Ride 2 just came out. I want to give that a test run. And I also want to try out a Gravely because I know that those are the two that everybody talks about. And I know it's not about what everybody talks about. It's about what works for you. But I really want to, try out a Skag or a Gravely 36-inch. And the reason being is because that'll work for me because I'm doing a lot of residentials. So I'm only cutting yards that have fences or no fences. It's nothing big. They don't. Lawn chicks don't dig lawn kids. They just dig their money. Exactly. That's a great way to put it. Cause I get it all the time. I'm like, dude. I even tell it to myself. I'm like, even if I had a girlfriend, there's so much I'd have to spend on her because it's not even real. I mean, you got to be a good boyfriend and stuff, but they're expensive, bro. All right, sorry, I'm getting a little out of order here with the comments. I finished my homework at school, and I only have 4 blocks, considering I'm 15 years old, freshman in a business, and stay on top of school. It's a great schedule there. So you do your homework at school. Yeah, I try to do the same thing, except it's really hard to concentrate when you got all these kids distracting you, right? I mean, I wear headphones and things like that, but yeah. Can you give me a shout? I'm a boy, English 14-year-old boy in England cutting grass. And please, can you subscribe to my channel? Yes, Mac the Gardener. I'd be happy to subscribe to your channel. By the way, if you're watching this, Mac the Gardener, look him up. Toro Grandstand Multi-Force. Yeah, I've heard about the grandstands. They're pretty cool. Random videos, read mine. Women are so much worth the extra worth. Yeah, I agree with you there. Stan Dirt Monkey has a few grandstands. Yeah, I know that, man. I follow Dirt Monkey. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Alright, I think I'm going to stay on here for a couple more minutes and I'm going to get off. Can't believe I've been on here for an hour already. I think that's long enough. So any last things you guys want to say before I go? Where are you walking to? Yeah, I'm just walking around the neighborhood, you know, trying to get outside. Haven't been outside in a while. And yeah, just getting out. I haven't been outside in like well over a week, so taking it. If you could choose a commercial mower, what would you get? I would get a stand-on because they're very compact, they're easy, they're very maneuverable in small spaces, and that works out for me because I live in a residential area. Just started my business last summer and I'm starting out pretty good. Been watching all the vids. Thank you, Random Videos, I appreciate it. Merca. Hello. Alright, I got out and mulched leaves with the Honda today. Awesome, dude. Get those leaves mulched down. Or mulch those leaves because you're returning nutrients into the soil. That's good. Alright, later, Jake. Enjoyed the live feed. Thank you for sticking around. I appreciate it. Ton of equipment, but I'd like a shout out and a subscription. I would love that and hope to keep in touch with you. Maybe I'll see you at the GIE convention. Yep, the Lawn Barber, absolutely. If you guys are watching this, look up the Lawn Barber. And we'll do it. Let's see what else we got. Cool video, bro. Good luck. Good. Look forward to your next mower and take care. All right. Your next video. You're a great guy. Thank you. That means a lot to me. I appreciate you guys, though, for sticking around. Can I have a shout out too, please? Cameron Scott, look him up. I subbed the Lawn Barber. Made a good choice. Have you considered a gas hedge trimmer? All right, well, I got a couple more minutes to explain this. So, hedge trimming, and I hear this a lot. Everybody says this, but I'm not just saying this to be like everybody else. Hedge trimming, unlike lawn mowing, is something that you probably do once every couple months. Whereas lawn maintenance, that's something you're doing almost every day of the week. And because of that, your equipment is always being ran. So the gas is always pumping through. There's no need to put any stabilizer in there or anything. Whereas with a gas hedge trimmer, you never know how often you're actually going to be pruning stuff because, jobs change throughout the year. So as far as pruning with gas trimmers, it's not practical to me, and it's not something I'd make a big investment on either because I don't do a lot of hedge trimming as it is. I do it every now and then, every couple months, and there's really no reason to deal with a faulty engine that's been sitting around for a couple months when I could just go to the store and maybe check out one of the DeWalt's or Milwaukee battery powereds. So as far as, because I hear a lot of good words about that, so as far as hedge trimming goes, I'd look into the electric stuff when it comes to that, or the battery stuff, even better. Alright, well, let me see what else we got here. Do not let the bullies get to you. I appreciate it, man. I do not let them get to me at all. You know why? Because I know that unlike most people... How you doing? I know that unlike most people, I'm always being unique. You know why? Because I'm always being myself. And there's nothing wrong with that. All these other people nowadays that say what you're doing is stupid, the only reason they're saying that is for two reasons. Number one, they're jealous. And number two, they don't want to say they respect you because they know they might be made fun of by other people. And really, those kind of people, they're just nobodies. They're nobodies. You want to know why I say that? Because they don't know how to be themselves and they don't have it in their blood. So, to those people, F them, screw them, get them out of your life. Have you ever used a RedMax product? At GIE a couple times, but as far as home use, no, not really. So that's something I'd probably be able to explore this year. Have you just passed the lawn care house? Nope, I'm actually right by it right now. Look at it. Semi covered in snow. Can't really give you a full conclusion on it until later in the season, but yeah. I gotta say though, as of right now, even with the snow covering it, I've had my lawn looks much greener compared to the LCNs. And the reason that is because I've been staying on top of my fertilizing. I always talk about using Milorganite, and Milorganite is really good because not only will it turn your lawn green, but it's going to work with the roots. It's going to increase microbiologic activity, and because of that, it's also going to work with your soil. And it's also got iron in it, which is going to make your lawn look bluish green compared to the... Alright, so, hold on, let me see, is everybody here again? Alright, okay, so I'm sorry about that. My stream cut out while I was walking home. Stupid app failed again. As much as I love YouTube, the app on the phone, it's really glitchy. And it literally just, it died anyway. So, I'm going to answer a couple more questions and then I'm going to get out of here. Did the aerator beat you up after using it? Not as much as I thought. I mean, and the reason that is because I practiced like certain techniques that I might be talking about later on, and it wasn't that bad. It was actually smooth as butter for me, which is very surprising. I mean, the only part that really killed it for me was when I had to lift it in and out of the truck with my neighbor. As you guys remember from the video, yeah, that was backbreaking work. Literally put that in and out of the truck, but yeah. All right, let's see what else you got here. All right. Where did he go? Do you have T-shirts? Not at the moment, but that's something I really want to look into this year. Not for business, but for the YouTube channel. I want to look into shirts that I could give away for you guys, because I really appreciate all of you guys that watch and everything. So that's something I'll have to look into. See what else we got here. What time is it? Crap, it's almost 4 o'clock. Been on here that long. Hey Jake, love your videos. Siren Brown, thank you so much. Franco the Boss, what's up, buddy? I see you commenting a lot, so what's up? Oh, this is a question I probably get a lot. Is it too early to seed a lawn? I'm actually going to be doing a video on this too, so I'll go ahead and talk about it. But um, if you right now too early to seed, but if you want to seed in the spring, I highly do not recommend it. And the reason that is because in the spring you have two options. Number one, you can go ahead and seed, or number two, you get down your pre-emergent to control weeds that'll probably come later on. And the reason I don't recommend seeding is because, again, you're probably going to have weeds that'll come into your grow later on and probably grow over your seed and probably choke it out and suffocate it. So that's not something I recommend. So what I recommend you do, because it's available to you now, is look into an earlier season control, which is going to be Barricade or Prodiamine. You get that pre-emergent down as soon as soil temps hit 50 degrees, because, and then just go from there, and then don't seed until the fall. Now, if you do decide to seed in the spring, like you have a couple small areas you want to seed or whatever, or you have to do a complete broadcast overseeding, the thing you have to consider is that, what am I going to say here? Is that you have to wait for that grass to establish itself. So you have to wait about a good 5 weeks after germination. Not 5 weeks after the day you seeded, but 5 weeks after germination is when your grass is going to be established and it'll be able to put up with the chemical pressures such as pre-emergence. Because remember, if you put it down in the grass plant is still prematurely growing, what's going to happen is the way the pre-emergent works is it can prevent your good grass from growing. So you don't want that to happen. So you want to make sure that you time it perfectly. And if you do end up seeding, you wait the 5 weeks and you get down to later season control. And we'll be talking more about that in the video. Are you supposed to put winterizer or fertilizer down on a warm season turf? I don't know much about warm season turf. I don't have a lot of experience with areas like Texas or Florida, so I really wouldn't know that. But if anything, I just recommend you're fertilizing with your Milo every 4 to 5 weeks, and you should be fine. I mean, in the winter, you might want to go down a little bit because you never want to push a lawn that's not growing. It's not worth the stress. So you want to wait till the growing season to start pushing it again. Would you still put Milo down in the winter? No. I wouldn't put down anything in the winter. It's not good. I don't recommend. In fact, the reason I don't recommend that you put down fertilizer in the wintertime, it just makes some sense out of yourself. It's stupid to even think that you could do that. Because if you do, what'll happen is you're going to apply the fertilizer, and it, instead of absorbing into the ground over time like it's supposed to, it'll run off because the ground is still frozen, and it'll run off into the storm sewers, and I think it kills some sort of South African turtle or whatever. But yeah, you don't want to do that. So just be careful. Wait till the spring. There's no need to fertilize in the winter. Milo just after Thanksgiving, right before the ground freezes. Exactly right, man. Throw her down. I mean, I can't say that, but I can, as long as I give credit. I don't want to be taken for plagiarizing, but that saying was made up by my buddy the Lawn Care Nut, so I can't really steal that. I wish I could though. That's a pretty good catchphrase. The seed is cheap, throw her down. That's awesome. Sorry, I forgot to mention I'm in Cali, so about 7 to 80 degrees. Yeah. Sorry about that. I get confused because that's all I work with around here in northern lawns. So if you want to, you can put down Milo in the winter. Just reduce your N rate a little bit. Instead of a full pound or 3/4 pound, try and take it down to a half pound. So the way you do that, right, is basically you get your pounds per thousand, which is 15 pounds per thousand. Well, take that down to 10 pounds per thousand, multiply that by the 5% in on the Milorganite, and that gives you about half pound of nitrogen per thousand. Just a lot of drama here. You have two sisters, you guys know what I'm talking about. keep up the great videos. It means a lot. All right, well, I think I'm going to get off here now. Been on here for over an hour. It's long enough. I got some stuff I got to do. But,
Are you on live?
yeah.
Instagram?
Mm-hmm.
How many people do you have on?
I got like 30 people.
Let
No.
me see.
No.
Let me see.
Just go. I'm trying to sign off. I'm serious.
My name's Jake the Long Kid and I'm signing off.
Yeah, just go. Come on. You don't see me getting in your Snapchats all the time.
Oh, is this where you beat your meat too?
Just get out! Alright, anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for watching. Sorry about that. Anyway, I might have to take this live stream down now. But I appreciate you guys watching. With that, I'm Jake the Long Kid. Stay tuned for more of these live streams. I'll see you guys next time.